I do Wings of Fire content. I'm sorry if my artwork looks like cypresses. That's because I learned from her. She's my favorite Wings of Fire artist and YouTuber, and I just really like her videos. So I learned to draw from her. So if my content looks like hers, I'm sorry. I cannot help it. I'm still learning how to draw Wings of Fire dragons. So I really like Rainwings. Drawing them is just super easy. They're the first tribe I learned, so they're like my go-to dragon when I can't think of which to draw or I can't remember a certain tribe. Sorry, I have a cold. My voice is gonna sound horrible. Anyways, they're my go-to tribe because I just love them and they're really easy. Especially, I just love them especially because of all the great characters we get, like Kinkajou, Glory, I guess Coconuts. Mangrove says that the Rainwings, before they had like 10 queens, which was so random, they used to challenge like everyone else and then they moved on. I think they were in the rainforest for a while, but that was all the information we got in like Arc 1 and 2. Moving on to Arc 3, we got even more information, even in the book, The Guide to Dragon World, which I love and I totally recommend. You can see that in the legend of the Hive, I think it was, yes. It says that like 4 different tribes came to Pantala, including beetlewings, which I researched about. They are like rainwings, totally boring. Don't bother. Sorry for anyone who likes beetlewings. Sea wings, rainwings, and leaf wings, they all came from Prihera, and it said that they were just having some challenges and they couldn't go back to Prihera. So obviously rainwings were, wow, like they were there for a while, and then that's probably what helped made silk wings, because silk wings are a lot like rain wings. Some think are more pretty. I think that rain wings are a bit more vibrant, and in silk wings, I just feel like, I don't know why, but from the moment I saw blue on the cover, I just felt like every silk wing was metallic, but I may be wrong. They have such a big personality, like Kinkajou, very bubbly and happy. Glory's, she has a personality, some would say, but let's be honest, she's not as bubbly and happy as most, probably because she didn't grow up in the rainforest and she didn't get suntan. Yes, she is still working on that. So having color changing skills is very, not useful, but it helps with having their emotions be true. So if you're not like Moon and can't read minds, oh well, you can tell, especially if you're looking at Kinkajou, how they're feeling easily. Also because they have guides like Jambu in Guide to the Dragon World. He shows you all about their colors and what they mean. I think that's really cool that the author came up with that and didn't just say. And I don't know about you, but I'm very interested in how the Rainwings could possibly have a hybrid in their future, because they're already look like they were merged with different tribes because there are so many colors. So I'm wondering if like Kinkajou and Turtle, how they end up being together, and Tamarin and Anemone, how they end up being together, or at least that's what it says in the letter. Now let's talk about Kinkajou. Kinkajou is possibly one of my favorite Wings of Fire characters, tied with many, many, many characters. And also because I'm in Keeply fan club. Anyways, and so I'm so annoyed that how they took her out of about like 2.5 books because she got knocked out by Peril's dad. And so all I'm saying is just, I hate how she's just wiped out for 2 whole books because she got wiped out herself. I think they should have changed that. And so I think if we were in Kinkajou's perspective, it would be either a very boring story, although like Moon said, that hasn't made it into my vocabulary for Kinkajou yet, and ever. It would either make for a boring story or one that's kind of just talking all the way through, and that would be boring. So I think it's actually good that we got Peril instead of Kinkajou for the 8th book, also because it takes for a nice break from like what's going on, but then not one too long to where you just want to get back into what's happening, and you get to get a bit of Peril's backstory and learn very important things. Diving into another Rainwing dragon, I love to think about Glory and how she's so different from the tribe. In fact, it's actually in at least the graphic novel version of book 3. She thinks, and aren't I glad that I'm not like the rest of my tribe? Isn't there more to us? The fact that pretty much every Rainwing is the same. They're happy, they love fruit, and they're happy that they live in the rainforest, thinking it's the greatest place on Prahera and the other continents probably as well. So I love how Glory is more sarcastic than the others and how she just has a completely different personality, and probably that's caused from not growing up in the rainforest, and so no sun time would make her more grumpy and grouchy and sarcastic as the others suspect. And so I love how Glory is so determined, and that it's probably a good thing she didn't grow up in the rainforest like the other Rainwings, or else she wouldn't be the Glory that we know today. As I said in the beginning of this video, I love drawing Rainwings because they're very easy yet very fun to draw from all of their details, like the patch around their eye and their wings and their scales and just everything. And my art style for them is, again, a lot like Cypress's, but I also just think that I love to draw kind of cartoony like the graphic novel, but also completely different. Actually, less detailed. As you can see in the graphic novels, their eyes are more detailed than mine. But I think that my style is very cartoony and simple, yet it still is as detailed as a dragon in the book series would be. There's not a lot more to talk about Rainwings, and I'm sure you don't want to hear my very annoying voice for the entire video, but I'm going to keep on talking until this video is finished because, nothing else to hear. Since there's really nothing else to talk about, I'm going to talk about the Rainwing scales and what they mean and the emotions. So I'm using the Guide to the Dragon World for this and Jambu's guide. And so it says the gold scales are happier, excited. I thought that was yellow, but I think that goes for it too. Yellow scales, never mind, are amused or surprised. Lavender scales, delighted, which I did not expect. I thought lavender scales would be more like chillaxed and relaxed. And then pink rose scales is joyful and happy or in love. Unless if a dragon is light pink, very light pink, it means they're embarrassed. And blue scales mean curious and calm and tranquil, or any of those, just one of those. But if they turn like a dark blue, that means they're concentrating, and light blue, it means they're sad, which probably makes another Rainwing sad. And then for the bad emotions, or at least the ones we don't like, red scales is angry, as you would suspect. Orange scales is irritated and frustrated. And green scales are meaning a dragon feels pretty bad, whether they're in the dark green of distress, or the acid green of shock and disbelief, or the pale green of being scared. Purple scales is like a range of emotions because it can be either guilty or proud. Usually dark purple is a guiltier feeling, while lighter violet is closer to pride, which makes sense because we normally associate dark colors with dark feelings and lighter colors with more happy and positive. Orangey purple scales means confused, which I think I get because orange scales means irritated and frustrated, and purple scales can mean guilty, so that kind of makes sense, except for the purple scale. White scales means the dragon is in pain or sick, because in book 7, when Kinkajou gets knocked out by Peril's father, we can see that her scales turn completely white, as well as with Tamarin in the fire at Jade Mountain. They turn white probably because it makes me feel like all their color is sucked out because they got like unconscious or dead or sick. Brown scales mean they're stressed out, and although the Rainwing tribe doesn't see too many white or brown scales in the rainforest unless someone is pretending to be an Icewing or a Mudwing. And last but not least, dark gray scales mean a dragon feels sorrow, while a blue-gray dragon feels depressed, and a dragon with black scales is deeply upset, possibly furious or hating something. And, of course, luckily, they don't say that a lot either, because Rainwings are a very peaceful tribe, as you can see in Book 4, when they don't want to go to war with the Nightwings. I'm actually surprised we don't see a lot of blue-gray scales on Rainwings, unless if that's their natural colors, because I think I've seen a lot of times in Wings of Fire when a Rainwing has been depressed, yet they don't turn a blue-gray shade. So we'll see once the more graphic novels come out. The black scales, I think I've never seen on a dragon, and we're very glad, because then that would disturb the feeling of them being a happy tribe, because that means they are so upset and furious or hating something. Luckily, it's only said something and not somewhat. Also, not to shame Rainwings, but I don't think they're brown scales a lot, because that means they're stressed out. And again, no shame to Rainwings, but I don't think they have to be stressed out a lot, unless if they're at Jade Mountain and they're doing something hard, because they often have an easy life. The only hard thing I can imagine is if they're learning to tree glide for the first time, or just fly for the first time, or if they're gathering fruit like Mangrove did and they couldn't find a certain type of fruit that they wanted. That's all I could imagine, that they could be brown scales. Again, no offense to Rainwings, I just think that they have a pretty easy life, which is good for them because they prefer it. For the last thing I'm going to talk about Rainwings, I want to talk about the old challenges for the Rainwing Throne, and I guess still the new ones. And this was as told by Handsome to Queen Glory, or at least when Glory wasn't queen yet. The challenges were the fruit gathering trial, where the dragons who were competed are tasked to collect as many varieties of fruit as possible with a limited time. The treetop race, the storytelling event, whichever dragon can tell the longest story with the fewest listeners falling asleep wins, which I find very funny. The venom targeting match, the meal preparation contest, the flower hunt, the camouflage competition, and the sloth taming task, which sounds tiring. A lot of these Queen Glory did to become queen, but the only ones she didn't were the storytelling event, the meal preparation contest, and the sloth taming task, which probably means those are old challenges that they don't do anymore. And as boring as those challenges seem, it would be pretty interesting to see them in Book 3 when Glory challenges the queens. Like, the meal preparation contest is each dragon's given several ingredients that she must include in a special meal. The dragon who creates the tastiest meal wins. And the storytelling event, which I already explained, and the sloth taming task, where each dragon is introduced to a sloth she has never before encountered. The dragon who first successfully makes the sloth climb onto their neck wins. I really like that this is a tradition in the Rainwing challenges for the throne, and they don't kill like all the other tribes. I think, like Sunny said in Book 5, each tribe should learn how to do that. Even if they decide not to, they should at least know that, because, we don't want a lot of dragons dead, of course. And so I think Rainwings are my most favorite tribe, and being totally awesome and having magical death spit. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you for watching and listening. This is my first dragon drawing, and I hope you liked it. And there will be more videos this week.